Boom, we're back. Mr. Andy Cullan, legendary gun dog game. Reason for being here is St Andy and Sock, a young pupper bred, about 6.5 weeks ago now, Andy.
That's right,
She came in, I'd done basically as much as I could with her. Didn't want to do too much, she's only 12 months. Said to Andy she's a quick learner. I lost my rabbiting ground, so in my opinion there was nowhere I could take her. There was no point in me beating her about the bush, going over all the drills. I've trained on and off and coming to Andy's days all over the UK for about 4 years now, so a day here, a day there, a mock trial here. No consistently training with Andy, but coming down to his days and the ones I could make I've been coming down, so I know how Andy trains. You train a bit different to most. You're no hard on the dogs at all. Sock's a soft dog, so it seemed like a good idea to send you Sock. Jumped on, had a wee word with you on the computer, rammed a couple of wee things out, sent the Sock down.
I'm not very good with the computer, right?
Sent the Sock down, and that was it. My trust was already in here before the Sock went, so for anybody else sending a dog away to a gun dog trainer, if you've not been seen that guy training his own dogs, if he's not got his dog up to a certain standard, then you don't know much about him, you only know his name. In my opinion, they're wasting their money. So, spoke to Andy today, I was surprised that it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't anywhere near as much as I thought to send Andy my dog. I came today, I've had a wee exercise of the weekly updates, I'm over the moon. The big thing I was asking Andy was, she got the gears and she's got the gears, clicked her off up there, and I stood back and just let Andy work her, and I was very, very pleased. How's this COVID been?
Well, like everything else, you know,
It's almost got a wee break in it,
well, obviously, like, you know, just see how it goes, you know, obviously looking forward, you know, I know there's things to be coming in place at Christmas and all that, so we'll see how that affects things later on, but at the minute, you know, we're managing to just get around it a wee bit, and the fact that we're limited to what we can do, but we're having, like, the pay train thing that we've been doing, because my job is about training dogs, as in clients one-to-one, and that. Trialling is an additional thing for me, you know, I enjoy it. For me, it's like a day off, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I'm lucky enough, I've had a few dogs to train for people, and I've ran a couple, and earlier on, you know, we went up to Cocker week, and we had a good wee week, you know, the dog was consistent in the awards. A lot more to come for that dog, I believe.
But it's a red dog, Andy.
Aye, a red dog, aye, but it belongs to a good friend of mine, and he knows who he is, like, you know, and so that's something that I like to, just to be seen to be getting involved in, you know, because there's a lot of folk there that are pure trialling men,
Yep.
and all they're doing is trials. Great, if that's what they do, and that's what they live by, you know, I pride myself on the fact that that's an additional thing for me. Our main clientele base is people that just want a dog trained for the shooting field, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And saying that though, our standards have always been the same. To me, a good shooting dog can go on if it's got that ability, that wee bit extra to be a trialling dog. Any trialling dog that I've taken to a trial will always be able to go on a shoot day. There's a bit of a myth people say, you know, the way we train them, they should be able to do both, no problem whatsoever. Your wee dog, just touching on that, as I say, I'm not hard on them, but they do have to know what's acceptable, what's no. So I use methods where if a dog does something wrong, I do correct it. You know, we're no truck hugging trees and all that, but I don't go out and pull it and all the rest of it. I use the word no and I go out and as you know, I go out and I correct it. Make it feel slightly uncomfortable, but then build it back up again as soon as it's doing what we want. And we don't have a problem with that. And the dogs don't, they soon realise, I'll not do that because he's going to tell me no, but I'll do this because I get praise for it. And that's how we do it. That wee dog's been a pleasure. As you say, come in, it didn't really have initial, if you like, the gears for what we want, you know. And I think with a wee bit of game, and we're lucky enough to have access to some nice bits of ground, the wee bit we're on there, it's just enough with some scent holding in it as well, just to get the dog going. And it's been a pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's always nice to be able to kind of give something back, you know.
That's great. I really appreciate that. And just for folk for the outside like myself, they're browsing Facebook, they're browsing the internet, what's your kennel name? How does somebody like myself that's maybe coming from the Lodgers into the Spaniels now, or maybe they've been into the Spaniels but they want to see they can kick on, maybe get a lot of professional advice, and they're not sure if their dog's got what it takes, maybe their dog's noisy and they don't know the rules or whatever. How do these people get in contact with you? Is there a list to come and see you? How do they
I'm quite kind of easy going, probably more so than a lot of folk, but for me it's a case of old fashioned, pick up the telephone, give us a call, or we are on social media, not the best on it but we're on it, through Facebook, or we have got a website, and obviously Tracy helps me, supports me and gives me a boot up the backside to say you better send a reply for that. And it's not because I'm lazy, it's just because it's one of those things that I'm not probably the best at, because we're out. There's a lot of people spend a lot of time on social media. I spend a lot of time training the dogs.
Yeah.
I always wonder, I always think, how come they're on there for so long if they're meant to be a trainer? You know, most trainers are like me. As you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion. If somebody comes out, a tip I would always say to you, if somebody comes forward, you go for a lesson and they're immaculate, they look as if they've just been at a wedding, put your dog back in the car and go home. Because chances are they've not done much training that day, you know.
Not very good at self-promote. What's your website name?
Leokin Gun Dogs. So Leokin is taken from the Battle of Arnhem. It's the Gaelic and actually means little heroes. So basically, quick bit of history. When the Germans actually captured the British paratroopers, what happened was one of the guys there was for the Highlands, a regimental sergeant major, and he actually started shouting, a bit through pride and a bit through kind of knew the game was up, Leokin, and the Germans asked what it meant, and he says little heroes, and they sort of tend to have a mutual agreement.
Yeah,
even though
that's
they
something
take
close to
place.
your heart.
Oh, it's something that there's a wee connection
Yeah.
there, but
We'll leave that for another time.
that's another day.
And I've been lucky enough to be down here a few times, Andy, walked around the ground, and it's second to none. The advice second to none for yourself, and see now you've got a nice new rabbit pen in there.
That's something that we've got a rabbit pen. I think you really need a rabbit pen if you're doing it full time. Some people might question that, but I think it accelerates training and it allows the dog to experience things. I don't think they're the be all and end all just to get them hunting, as some people might advocate. I would say for me it's more so you can see how the dog's going to respond when it has a contact flush close, especially at a young age or whenever you think it's suitable to get in. We also use a lot of, we've got a pigeon loft. I'm not a pigeon man, but we use a lot of feral, a lot of pigeon. It is. We use a lot of them because I believe there's only so much you can replicate in training aids, i.e. dummies and that. But at the end of the day, what we tend to do is share the knowledge we've gained from people like yourself and the dogs that we've had in. You always learn something for every dog, and if you keep an open mind, then you can filter that and actually pass it on to other folk. And very fortunate enough to have been doing it a long time now and had quite a few dogs and clients. Albeit the passion now is really, as much as I love my gun dogs, it's really that I'm back into the Spaniels again, you know, and that's what we're enjoying, like, you know. So
fantastic. So I know from just the whispers in the game that we've got a really nice dog in the kennel at the minute that's thereabouts to win. You just need an opportunity with it. So is this COVID kind of kicking the nuts for you? Well, it's been a kick in the nuts for everybody in terms of more important things than a dog. But
to put it into perspective, and I'm sure there's a lot, you know, the whispers are there's going to be a lockdown round about December time, like, you know, so getting into the new year, so, you know, that's going to take its toll for a lot of people. But what I would say is, I like to think we've done our homework, we've got it going well, and a few kind of teething problems we've managed to sort it out, and it's typical. It's the same wee dog that I took. I wish it was a Springer, my heart is telling the truth, but it's a Cocker, and Paddy like them too, but it's kind of, it's nice, and I think given the opportunity and the right kind of day, I think we'll be alright. I'm not one of them that, a lot of people just quickly when they talk about the dogs and trialling and this and that, they've got far too many different agendas. I'm one of them, if you've done your homework and the dog's good enough, I would run my dog under anybody. I don't really care who's judging, because for me, that's for me, well, it's going to get recognised, you know. I wouldn't be as arrogant to say it'll win, but I don't go there to take part.
No, I mean in time.
No.
See, if your dog's good enough, it's going to win one of the
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, sometimes the dog can be good enough and you fluff it as a handler.
Oh, definitely.
You know, too many extra retrieves or handles. I did it myself, you know, just one of the last open trials I was in. The dog had winded the rabbit. I should have left it alone.
Yep.
But because you want that perfection, you know, you just had that wee added handle, and you know right away that's you doing in the fourths, the certificate of merits or whatever, just the way it is.
Oh, definitely. And we're not going to go into too much because I'm sure everybody's aware I've started doing a podcast. I might podcast available on YouTube now, so I'm not going to get into Andy too much because we're hoping after we get the other boys recorded in, we'll come back and see Andy and we'll do a podcast with Andy. So just going to touch on one thing I've learned from doing the first time. I would always like to think I knew how to start my dog off. Andy, I was always taught to pit, start your partner off and go for there. And first time I brought the dog down, said to me, "Barry, take the whistle out of your mouth."
Aye.
What he,
well, I'm a great believer, right? You can school them as much as you want, but I think it takes a bit of the drive out of them. So what I like to do is get them going as naturally as they can, and then bring them in a wee bit. Now, obviously, there is parameters. You know, you don't want it running the length of a football field and then try to think you're going to control it back in here if it's learning to find things out there. But with me, if they find close, then obviously you can manage that with different things, pigeons and all the rest of it. But once they learn to find close and they got a bit of style about them, just like your dog's just proven to you, by doing it our way, we took the pressure off it. Pressure's a big thing, so we took the pressure off it a wee bit. Not because you put a lot of pressure on it, I've got to be honest, it's just because what you've done is taken it, as you say, so far, but it just needed a wee bit more game and stuff. So we take the pressure off them a wee bit, almost to say to them, right, let's go on. And there's a lot of folk documenting different things, but a lot of people have their dogs quabbling like wee pendulums because they don't want to miss anything. But I think if I was taking my dog into the shooting field, remember, for me they have to be shooting dogs first. So, you know, I wouldn't be covering very much game and everybody would be waiting on me. So the bottom line is get them going for me nicely with style, passion and drive. You know, I'd like to think that you know, I might not always get it right when it comes to retrieving. I might have to work, if I'm honest, self-assessing, work a wee bit harder to get the retrieving correct. But I think most folk will always say, when you see us, I've always got a decent hunting spaniel, and that, to me, that makes...
Oh, definitely. I think that was kind of what made me make my mind up to send you. So, if I remember rightly, you were a wee cocker shot maybe last year, or a year and a half ago maybe, and I sent you down a young cocker. Trained as best that I could, you put a polish on it and you went to the shooting show there, and not for you, but for everybody I spoke to, and I went to private mails this week. I'm going to have up in backflips. So, just going to touch on finishing up, Andy. Thanks very much for taking the dog in. Before we go, how does somebody that's looking into your line, how do they get in contact with you for a stud? Is it just the same as booking and training, or what is planned in the future?
Well, we're hoping, and it's obviously nothing to do with COVID, it's always a dodgy thing like that. But we're looking in the new year, we've got a couple of nice bitches there. We're looking to cover, because we'll only breed really to keep one back for ourselves, you know, for just stock really. And as I say, we're hoping to do that. So then, whether it's training, whether it be one-to-one, and all the rest of it is just get in touch with us. You know, one thing we do say to folk is on the one-to-ones is, you know, we do pride ourselves on the fact that we put a lot into it, and all we ever ask for folk is they just reciprocate that by actually kind of, you know, turning up, showing a bit of loyalty, doing their homework, you know, and most people do, and those people tend to go on and do. Well, I've got a lot of folk in the trialling game that come. Some folk, for whatever reason, don't want to let it be known, so it doesn't bother me. It's
a very straight thing that.
Aye, and I get that, you know, but as long as we do what they asked us to do, I don't get into any clubs, I'm not a politician, I just train the dogs and I let the people mudsling and do what they want. We keep out of all that. Most people that know me know that I don't get involved, and it's a nice position to be in, really, you know.